Hello and welcome to today's video, where I'm going to discuss why I find that minors do not belong in the BL industry. A little disclaimer before we start the video. In no way am I criticizing the minors themselves who chose to act in these BLs. I understand that their dream is to become a successful actor. Rather, I'm blaming the adults around them, the production companies, and most importantly, the fans. Okay, so let's dive into the video now. You might be familiar with the shows Love by Chance or Why Are You, both of which had actors in them who weren't even 18 yet. However, there are many more examples of production companies using minors in their shows. It's obviously not just a common thing in the BL industry, but also in others. The problem is that the BL industry is kind of different. Let's start with the first point, the sexualization of teenagers. In Love by Chance, Perth's character A is put in very sexual situations, starting from episode 9 up until almost the last episode. Him and Saint, who was not a minor at that time, had very intimate scenes. Now, I often see comments like, oh, but the legal age in Thailand is 15, so it's okay that they were minors, that they use minors for intimate scenes. Let me tell you, that's the stupidest argument I've ever heard. Just because something is legal in a country doesn't make it any less morally wrong. Take child marriages as an example. They're still legal in many countries, but it doesn't make it any less creepy. The truth is that the brain doesn't fully develop until the age of 25, making it very easy to manipulate teenagers. And seeing a child that should be in school in those type of scenes is just extremely weird. Don't get me wrong, I really like the AP storyline, however, I wish they had toned it down a notch on the intimate scenes, or at least just hinted at them and not done more. I have a similar problem with Why Are You? Even though Max's and Nat's characters didn't have any intimate scenes, they were put in borderline assaulty situations. In general, I couldn't really warm up to Max's character. No hate towards the actor, but that character assaulted Nat's character several times, which is even worse if you consider Nat's age at that point of filming. Why did the writers have to create such scenes? Now, as surprised as I am about saying this, but the Kin Portia writers actually got that right. The show was filled with very intense, intimate scenes, but Barcode's character Portia actually had very innocent ones. I believe there were only 2 kisses between Portia and Kim, and both were more or less appropriate. So, like I'm saying, I'm not giving any fault to the actors, not even the older ones. Even though I find it weird that they have to kiss someone who is significantly younger than them and underage, I don't think that they actually know who they're going to be paired up with when they go in for auditions. I think a big problem are the fans and the shipping culture. It's one thing if these actors portray certain characters, but it's another thing to ship them in real life, especially if they are minors. Many fans excuse their behavior by saying things like, he's waiting until XX turns 18, then they'll start dating. Or, he must be happy that XX is 18 now. I could go into a whole rampage about why it's just as weird to wait for someone to turn 18, but let me just say this. When I was 16, I also thought that dating someone older is not a problem. However, now that I'm in my 20s, I understand why that is problematic. Normal 20-year-olds don't want to date minors. Not just because of the difference in thinking, but also because I know how easy someone could have manipulated me at that age. Now, I went a bit off topic, but to come back, I don't think these minors are prepared for the BL industry and the crazy fan service they have to do. Because most 17-year-olds don't know what they want to do with their lives, and that's totally okay. Your teens and 20s are there to try yourself out. And even though I find it admirable how good some of these minors can act, especially Perth, We can't forget that because of their age, they might feel more pressured into doing fan service. The third and last point connects a bit to the second one. Minors are put in very dangerous situations. We all know about the incident between Perth and Saint's managers, and people are still hating on Perth when in reality his manager did all the damage. Perth was also a victim in that situation, and just imagine how you would have been at such a young age. Another terrible situation is that whole grooming thing with the KinnPorsche authors Demi. Now, if you want to know more on that situation, I recommend you check out Moon Consort's video. I'll link it down in the description box. But these are just situations we know of. Imagine what goes on behind the scenes. It's not exclusive to minors, as other BL actors have been put in similar situations. However, minors are more afraid to speak up about things like these because of their age and inexperience and the position of power that older people hold over them. Now, like I mentioned before, I'm not telling you to stop supporting these actors or these shows. I just want to show you why it is problematic to use minors in BLs. Thank you very much for watching, and please comment your thoughts down below. I would love to hear everything.